Hey guys, welcome back to another market update with the Patti Martin team. I'm joined with Patti and Jennifer. How are you guys doing?
Well, thanks.
Doing
Awesome.
great.
Excellent. Today is November 8th, and of course we're talking about October 2024 stats. And this was a very interesting month. We've seen a surge in buyer demand. Would you guys say that we have noticed that on our team with some of our listings and our buyers and calls on properties, or is this just a general market-wide trend?
I think the word surge is absolutely perfect. We had a month in September that was pretty kind of meh. And then all of a sudden there was a surge kind of mid-October right after that rate reduction. And yeah, I think we have. I think that a lot of our buyers, like my phone has certainly been ringing, our buyers have been calling and our buyers have been buying. And Patti, what do you think's been happening with the listings?
I think that the listings sat a normal listing period time, and then
Yeah.
people had more time to do some due diligence because there wasn't as much activity, and then they circled back. So I can think of 3 or 4 of our listings that sold where people saw it probably 3 to 5 weeks prior to them actually buying it. And that's significant.
I would agree with all those statements. A lot of the buyers that we're working with, we're not necessarily in competing offers, but an offer gets accepted and then that backup offer is in. So I think there is that pool of buyers. When we are looking at the stats, Metro Vancouver recorded 2,632 sales in October 2024. This is a 32% increase from the nearly 2,000 that was recorded a year ago. And if we look month over month, it's up nearly 8% in sales month over month. So yes, I would definitely call that a surge. My question is, after months of waiting, are buyers finally back to the market?
Let's all remember something. A data point does not equal a trend. So
Correct.
We have a data point and we see something that is happening, but is it a trend? Only time will tell. The thing that I think is really interesting is that I think we were in a balanced market, but part of me thinks we're returning to a seller's market. And I think it's particularly in the attached market, which I'm so surprised about. So when we look at the stats, there was about a 22.5% sales ratio with townhomes and a 22 or so percent with apartments. Those are sellers' numbers in those bands, and it's a shock to me. I didn't really think that was going to happen.
Further to add to that, I was gonna mention this a little bit later when we got to sales ratios, but this is a perfect segue. If we look at the previous month, just to see a month over month increase, if we're talking about attached, so that townhouse property, it's actually increased 33% month over month. And if we're looking at condos for the activity of buyers, it's actually increased 52% month over month, just on the speed of the market.
Right, but the number of listings is up significantly as well, correct?
Well, let's look into that right now.
Yeah.
So Metro Vancouver, we have 5,452 newly listed properties for sale on the MLS. It's nearly a 17% increase compared to the previous year. And then month over month, it's down 11%. So that's just new inventory, recycled inventory. It's kind of telling you the speed of the market, how quick people are coming back to the selling process. If we look at total inventory, we're looking at 14,477 listings. It's nearly 25% increase compared to a year ago, but it's actually down 3% month over month. So total listings month over month is down ever so slightly.
That's because some of them sold.
That's because some of them sold. There's not this huge, but there's also not this huge renewal of inventory. Like inventory is still elevated, but if we're down 11% on new listings, like there's that replenishment of inventory that is also down.
And we're going to hit a time of year where we won't see. We're going to hit in a couple of weeks where we won't see very much coming on the market.
Right. So.
And indeed, we'll find things coming off because they'll say, I don't want to sell. I have visitors coming, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we are, we have inventory that is dwindling, if not staying stagnant, or very similar to the month-over-month numbers. How is this affecting the confidence of our sellers, knowing that the market might be transitioning?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I'm not sure that, I'm not sure it's that visible yet. In other words, I'm not sure people are really noticing. I mean, every time I go on an evaluation the last month and a half, people tell me how many more signs there are. So that's how
Yeah.
they gauge the market. I mean, of
Mm,
course they're online, but they gauge it by driving around their neighborhood. My neighborhood's a perfect example, right? There's probably 20 homes for sale in this neighborhood, and there is usually two, right? So people notice
Yeah.
that. So while the inventory may be slightly down, is it down enough to create a bigger surge of buyers? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that.
I think it
Well,
depends on property type as well. But yeah, Jen, what are you going to add on to that?
Well, I was going to say, and on that note, like when you're working with a team like ours, we're going in and we're telling you what average days on market is. So our sellers aren't kind of shocked that it's taking a little bit longer because
Mhm,
we tell them, we
mhm,
go in with our stats and we let them know, like, hey, this is
mhm,
what we can expect out of your neighborhood.
mhm. And it's really interesting because we talk about this. It's exactly what you're saying, Jen. You tell people and you prepare them for the fact that there is going to be a lag time that wasn't in play 6 to 8 months ago. And now we're back to really a really normal market that people actually come and look at your house and don't buy it in the first day
Hmm.
is a reality that some people don't quite get yet. But it is true. It's what's happening. And if people are prepared, then they're much more calm in the process. And it's happening. Everybody's selling. We haven't
Hmm.
had listings that aren't selling. We just have listings that are taking more time to sell.
That's a very good point. Yeah, we were very fortunate a couple of years ago when you could list a home and sell it in, 6 days. And we were telling our buyers to buy something before you even listed. And now everybody kind of has the time to buy something, subject to sale, backup offer. Like there's so many more variables at this process. So Jen, this question is kind of geared towards you and obviously Patti chime in as well, but to our buyer clients. We've had 4 consecutive interest rate cuts. We predict that there's more on the way. Our interest rate now is 3.75. It's the same that it was in October 2022 when we were still experiencing the interest rate increases. The predictions are that the interest rate is supposed to go down to about 2.5% by September 2025. Let's even push that out a little bit, but we're heading to that 2.5 and things in the world can change. Speak to me about our buyer confidence in this process when this month for sure we've seen an uptick in sales. We see sales ratios for attached and condo style properties tick up as well. There is a lot of properties to buy. Not all of them are great, but there are more listings out there. How confident are our buyers in this type of market?
So what I think about this is buyers that I've been working with over the last year, especially first-time home buyers, they've been saving, they've been actively involved with their broker, and they've been kind of involved in this dance. As we found properties that might meet their criteria, they check in with their broker for their affordability. And what happened in these last couple of weeks of October is I had a couple of first-time home buyers who checked in right away after that rate drop, said, how does this affect my rate? And they went and they pulled the trigger and they bought because for them, they had saved, they had watched. We knew that prices have not jumped up to any significant level. The right product was there and they went for it. Now, December 11th, we potentially could have another rate drop, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the date.
Yep.
But the thing about this is that the timing is crucial. When you are ready, and those numbers add up, you've got to get in there. And so buyers that are already there, like they've been watching the market, they know what they want, they're jumping in.
And
And
Patty, we
Adam,
just got a report from a mortgage broker here that talked about net worth of buyers of real estate, but also people that hold assets. And I
Versus
thought that was
renters. Mm-hmm.
versus
yeah,
renters, and I thought that was,
Mm-hmm.
what
yeah,
did he
he
say
sent us
again?
a Globe and Mail article, which maybe we should attach to our newsletter. But it showed that homeowners in the under 35 age group were 10 times worth 10 times more in terms of net worth than renters. And people that are 55 to 64, their net worth is 30 times more than someone that rents. That's significant, right? So we talk about this all the time. Like we, of course, we sell real estate. We want people to buy real estate. We believe in real estate. We've seen, I've been doing this for 37 years. What used to sell for 74,000 now sells for over $1 million. So I have proof that it works. And actually, I was talking to someone yesterday, and we were discussing what they paid for something, and in 10 years it had doubled, right? So it's just incredible, right? You need to jump in. Jen and I sat down with a first-time buyer the other day, and we were discussing them buying now or waiting till spring, and looking at if the prices went up 3 or 4%, is it worth waiting, or is it worth doing it now with a short-term rate? And the answer with them was quite clearly to do it now, because there's inventory to buy. There's nobody fighting them for the property. They're generally writing an offer without competition, as opposed and taking a slightly higher rate that they can renegotiate down in 6 months or a year, as opposed to waiting and then having the inventory become more in demand and the prices rise.
You have to remember that you're taking a 25 to 30 year amortization or a mortgage. Like you're going to have a few years there where it's not the best rates, and we're not going to be at historical lows again. But in the end, you'll be a winner in net worth. And if there's a couple of years there where you're paying a rate that's probably above average, you have to do it, because at the end of the day, you have the house and you have the place that you're going to live in. And first and foremost, the property is a home. It's not necessarily an investment.
Not
it's
just an investment. Yeah.
That kind of leads into what we predict in the next couple months. We're saying right now, if there's a house that fits your needs, the dollars and cents work, we're saying that go ahead and buy it. We have confidence in the market that interest rates are going to be more favorable in the future. And by the time that you complete, you might even have a couple more rate drops. What do we think is going to happen with some of these stats that we talked about for October? Sales are up in October. How are we feeling? We're a week into November. Do we think that these numbers are going to continue? Do we think sales are going to stay elevated? Do we think that there's going to be more inventory leading into the holidays and the new year? What are your predictions?
Well, definitely not more inventory. People are already starting to slow in terms of, and rightfully so. There's not as much demand. So if you're for sale over the holidays, it's because you really want to get going.
Exactly.
And I mean, there's always people that look. We do show houses, certainly on Boxing Day. Maybe not Christmas Day, but we have shown them on Boxing Day.
Definitely.
So, but oftentimes people will wait till January. So because they're busy. They're just busy.
So on that note, I kind of predict that we're enjoying this kind of surge, but the surge will come to an end.
Yeah.
We'll quiet down for December, but I really believe there will be pent-up demand. And for any of those sellers listening to us, it's such a unique time to put your property on the market. People talk to family over Christmas. They kind of get their ducks in a row. And often, Patti, Adam, and I, we've all remarked, we turn that corner, and then all of a sudden, anyone who's decided to sell, boom, 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 boom. It's almost like popcorn. There's this certain kind of pent-up demand that just, there's suddenly some sales that happen. You're fresh, you're new, people are bored, they buy.
I agree. Last question to my panel. We're leading into those winter months. Real estate, it can be quick, it can be slow. What indicators or signs should our buyers or seller look for to determine if this is a market shift?
Well, for the buyer, I guess it would be that there's less inventory and more people looking while you're looking. And if you're writing an offer, perhaps competition, that would show them that. And for sellers, it would be that the time on the market would be reduced. Right.
Those are two excellent indicators for sure. I mean, the other interesting thing is that I do think open house traffic is up a little bit. And that doesn't necessarily mean people are ready to buy. But of course, we understand a sales cycle. Sometimes it takes, the looking, and then, maybe the
And then
spring
you're ready to go.
purchase. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's a lot of really good information for the stats and how we see the market unfolding in the next couple months. Are there any last comments or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
I would just say that I think now that we have the U.S. election behind us and we have our provincial election behind us, we're heading into a period of a little bit more certainty. There still is the looming idea that we may have a federal election in the coming months. But now that these types of things are set, things kind of tend to calm down and their hesitation lifts a little bit. What do you think, Patti?
Yeah, no, I think that's true, Jen. I think you've hit it properly. Yeah, that's right. That's the right
Any other
answer.
words of wisdom?
No, I'm still believing if you're a buyer, my goodness, take a look around. We've had some really cute young buyers buy in the last month that have been waiting, or an opportunity just presented itself and they jumped on it because the opportunity comes and we can accept or reject it, and they accepted that opportunity and they're so thrilled to be actually moving in when 6 months ago they weren't even considering it because they couldn't compete.
Awesome. To our audience, if you like this content, please subscribe, please ask questions, please comment on the YouTube video. It helps us get a little bit more traction. If there's any topics that you want us to discuss, please comment, reach out to us. We have a few things coming up in the new year on top of our market updates, so we hope to see you back at more of our releases on YouTube and a newly unveiled podcast that will get out as well.
Thanks, Adam.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Bye, guys.